Salutations and greetings as we are called forth with gratitude and alignment once again. We offer this within great compassion, understanding, without judgment, but illumination to all of mankind who are willing to listen to that of the transmissions that are given forth within this vessel. You are within your own right to be divinely aware and enlightened. Enlightenment is not something you strive for. It is not something that comes with a thundering sound. It does not come with fireworks or lightning bolts. It does not come in that of the struggle to get there. It comes in a moment of gratitude, accepting, accountability, and allowance of peace. This does not mean that of the external. It is that of the internal. Divine awareness, awakening, enlightenment. So many terms used to describe the moment of self-acceptance, the moment of self-celebration without a need for a party, without the need of external applause, without the need of anything external to validate your pathway. We do not discourage by any means this pathway to be discovered through whatever means you choose, whether it be climb to the top of a mountain, sit quietly in starvation, and it comes to you in that form, so be it. However, don't limit it within your beliefs or your doctrinations. What we mean by this is there are those who have become enlightened while sitting in the car in an aggravating traffic jam, in which they choose within that moment peace. They choose not to let the external affect the internal transmission and distinguish the light that is omitting from their being. Instead, in a moment, they move into gratitude. They move into a place of acceptance. They move into a place of accountability, awareness comes in that moment when they allow what is to be what is. In the moment, in the present, not rifling to figure out how, not striving, not starving, not meditating over and over with a determination to achieve something outside of oneself. This is not how it works. All efforts in that direction are to be applauded, for many don't even choose to open that door. They don't choose to start walking a path towards self-awareness, self-consciousness, self-allowing, self-forgiveness. This is a big one in your societies. self-forgiveness without shame, shame of self, especially from external beings, doctrinations. This is the relief of all of that. It is the paradoxical acceptance of oneself externally and eternally. It is the acceptance of what has been to no longer cause suffering through rumination and choices that align with that suffering. Instead, it is the acceptance, the accountability of what you have chosen without judgment, without shame. It is the ability to be accountable for your choices, for your decisions, for your awareness, simultaneously within an overview of forgiveness and self-love, unconditional. Many of you have taught that your unconditional love comes from a God source outside of yourself. Therefore, you have been indoctrinated to seek a savior, something, someone outside of yourself to bring you eternal joy. Joy is a choice. Pain is a choice. Aggravation is a choice. Laughing is spontaneous from the choosing of joy. Your great writer, the Shakespearean one of the creations of both tragedy and humor, simultaneously through these writings, taught the masses, those who chose to read and investigate the messages within the tales that were told. These tales also come from parables that are written in all divine scripture. These parables offer you information, although twisted over millennia, although rewritten to keep you enslaved and captured, believing that your joy, your self-forgiveness, your love, your self-compassion, the ability to love both your perfections and imperfections is from a source outside of you that you strive for. This is the greatest of illusions that are in your plane of understanding. Many of you at this time are coming into an awakened form, a state in which a light bulb, if you will, goes off in the mind, vibrating to the heart and relieving the nervous system of the gut. This comes to those who all of a sudden find that they cannot strive or push forward in the ways that they were, for it doesn't bring joy. It is a function to obtain material belongings, belief systems of awakening, approval from others, approval from your priests, your teachers, your masters. All of them are fallible. All of them do not know the divine way. For each of you, they may hold a light, a torch, high in the air to show you the traffic cones of direction. However, it comes to a moment of choice, a moment of self-awareness, a moment of self-acceptance in which you align perfectly with all that you are outside of these belief systems, outside of the shame, the guilt, the pain, the suffering. Each one of you can follow a master, and this is to be rejoiced if they are aligned with a higher truth of self-love, self-enlightenment, self-encouragement, self-motivation, no longer aligning with self-sabotage, no longer aligning with shame, no longer aligning with the idea that there is something that will save you. We offer great compassion in this message, for you have been deceived. Deceived. And this is not to create aggravation, rage, or anger. It is to create a moment in which you choose to analyze the self. Analyze your choices of the past without ruminating and suffering. Analyze the choices of what you're intending for the future. Does it align with your peace, your inner peace? Or does it align with acquiring more as a status of that which you are in society, to seek approval outside of yourself? If it does, it has no value. The mansion that you live in, or the hovel that you live in, the mansion can be empty of love and full of space. The hovel can be full of love and lacking in space. It is those who find the kingdom within that emerge outward. These teachers that many of you listen to, who live in their great mansions, acquiring monies from those of you who suffer and pay, thinking that will buy your way into salvation, only to line their pockets into self-gratification as their super-egos take over. This is not aligned with nature. It is not aligned with productivity of humanity. They then suffer the same, for they move into fear that someone might take what they have stolen already through their words, through their prophecies, the illusions to control, to keep you in shame, to keep you wanting a salvation outside of yourself, only to buy them the convenience of a Lear jet to fly forward and to and from within luxuries that you have not because you are striving to eat. This is the suffering we talk about. the subculture we talk about. It is an effort to keep you displaced from your own power, your own self that cannot be destroyed by anything externally. At this moment of awareness, even death does not create fear, for you have died many times through a lifetime, through your suffering. You have hung on a cross of sacrifice for others. You have walked pathways not aligned with your own, but to seek approval from others in order to feel better, exalted within yourself, within your mind's belief. Again, this is not with shame to those who are seeking to find their way out of the entrapment of what they believe. If this makes you angry, look at the rage within yourself and see the reflection of this anger. For you are angry at yourself for being manipulated. You are angry at yourself for judging others, not knowing the strife that they are in. You are angry for not accessing empathy and compassion within yourself. You seek to be validated. Then when it feels like someone is stealing from you, your ego reacts as you've been taught to think that they are stealing out of malice. Some may do that because of their own suffering, that they put themselves in a place of harm, judgment, prosecution, because they think so little of themselves through the shame and the persecution that they have endured early in life. If you have not endured these things, you have no compassion for them or understanding. But all of you have endured pain. All of you have endured loss. All of you have had your own suffering. When you access this, not in denial, not in saying as a victim, this happened to me, but rather accessing it through a state of love, self-awareness, and saying, this happened. Now I understand the pain of my neighbor. I understand the struggle of my neighbor. I understand the grief of my neighbor. This is information given to each of you now at the precipice of time in your world to follow your heart, to follow what you know innately is right, what is correct within its vibration. This is not to say your choices are incorrect. This is the paradox. For every choice leads to a place of your awakening. Every choice leads to a place of your divine awareness. But first, you have to call in that wish. Just as you've called in your suffering, just as you've called in your grief, you have to call in your compassion. You have to call in the ability to see beyond your hatred. Because that hatred is only a reflection of what you hate and despise within yourself that you have not come to allow, align, accept with gratitude, and be accountable for what you are denying within your own self. This comes in all choices, all decisions. Some, by nature, you gravitate towards by the simple genetics and that which you were created from. There are many of you who have been called at this time on Earth's kingdom from a divine source to help those who are awakening, to help those move forward. And many of you have seen suffering, have experienced it. This is how you become the light that shines outward into many. But even those who came to assist within this time are still within free will of choosing. This free will doesn't always activate that within their innate being or wisdom. And many trappings that they gravitate towards keep them enslaved in a society that would rather see you suffer than illuminate. Yet each of you, if you were illuminating, would shine a light on your neighbor, and that light would help them illuminate. We offer this message with compassion, kindness, love, so much love. We, as the observers, look upon you with compassion, knowing you have been deceived, knowing you have been lost, wandering in a wilderness that seems to have no way out. So you think the way out is to chop down all the metaphorical trees in your way in order to make a pathway. This pathway is illuminated by the light within when you call it forward in the quietness and the stillness, whether it be before slumber, make awareness of your dreams, whether it be in the traffic jam. At that moment, you choose to either be in frustration or be at peace with what is, as it is, within the present moment. Either way, it will lead you to self-awareness, self-discovery. But do not waste the light within you, being in darkness, holding hatred in your heart, holding fear within your mind, internalizing it, making yourself sick through your nervous systems, through your gut, by eating foods that are not nutritious, but are what would be called fillers. All of this is designed for greed. All of this and your deception has been designed for those who believe they can control. The one thing they cannot control is your inner illumination, your inner light awakening to what is, and your choices as you have made or making in the moment. But allow your conscious awareness to discover yourself without judgment or shame, knowing you have not fallen short of the God within, but it is a discovery process of this God within that is you. If you come from Source or God, you are a part of that light. Therefore, you are sacred. Therefore, you are divine. In your imperfections, which are perfect. We leave you now with this message. We hope it lifts your spirit, your consciousness, in a state of self-discovery through love and compassion of self. For when this happens to you, from you, it is gifted outward to the masses. And this is a state of joy and peace. We thank you for this time of your time.